before you ask why I'm wearing a helmet together with a wedding suit, listen to this. I noticed weddings in Tanzania are very different from those in Kenya, especially when it comes to the wedding invitation card. When you're given a wedding invitation card in Tanzania, it's for 3 basic things. Number 1 is the information about the wedding. Number 2, the color code, what you're supposed to dress for the wedding. Then number 3, it's actually your ticket to the wedding reception venue. When the card says it admits to, it will admit to. If you come without the card, believe me, you will not enter into the venue. Hey, where? Back home, we also receive wedding invitation cards. But here, the purpose is just to give you the information and the details about the wedding. But when it comes to the wedding reception, we have a model. It's a come ye all that are hungry and have time, and don't dare come with any gift. Ama nimechoma wadau. Welcome to episode number 4. This is Young and Different, and my name is Evans. First of all, I want to thank all of you for the overwhelming response that you have shown to every single episode. Episode 3 was amazing. I think you guys enjoyed the story so much because it just shot up. The comments were so many. I even want to just read a few of them here. I can see one here from Shukria Wanjiro. She says, very inspiring. Kudos, lady girl, for the challenge. Team Evans, oh yeah. Listen, that challenge I won hands down. In case you don't watch Young and Different to the very end, make sure in each episode you watch to the very end, because towards the end we normally have a challenge and it's different for every episode, and I win all of them. You can hear for episode 3 I still won. Okay. Let me read another one. I can see Glado Peru says, lady girl, I'm so proud of you. Babe, keep winning. Then another one from Kakeo Farm says, this young lady is good with her work. Was referred to her and she did a good job branding my business. I recommend her. So thank you so much guys for watching and for always sharing the link to this video even in your social media platforms. We are so grateful. Still, before I tell you why I'm wearing a helmet and a wedding suit, I want to thank especially those who have been participating financially. Thank you guys. I mean, if you continue like that, soon naona tukienda kufanya some of the episodes in Dubai. Director, what's the issue? Ai, wacha kuchoma bana. Ai, unachoma. Ama ni junaongea story ya do bana. Hey, director anachoma. Focus from here going up. Yeah, in case you want to know how you can participate or how you can support what you're doing, you can check the details in the description. How you can send your M-Pesa, PayPal, whatever means. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep inspiring other young people to make a difference in the lives of others. And on today's episode, I'm so excited. It's an amazing story of how a young man who went to university to do energy engineering. Now you understand why I have the helmet. He went to do energy engineering, but right now he's a master of wedding accessories. Not wedding suits, wedding accessories. You need to listen to this inspiring story.
My name's Henry Mege. I'm a Christian, I'm a creative, I'm a businessman. I'm passionate about art, technology, innovation. I was born and raised up in Mombasa. I am someone who loved art while growing as a child. As a teenager, I was very passionate about success cards. I thought of innovative ways of doing better cards than the traditional ones. All things are possible to the man that believes. So I'm someone who believes in possibilities.
Henry, it's nice to have you on Young and Different. And I know your story is amazing. And I know to be inspiring to so many people. Because the last time I checked, you were studying, was it civil engineering? Mechanical engineering. Then, after a while, I heard you doing...
No, energy.
You see, you have even forgotten the course you were doing. Energy engineering.
Because it's related to mechanical.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we still did some bits of mechanical and electrical within the energy engineering.
Okay. But then after a while, I heard you're doing wedding stationery.
Yes.
So please take us through that journey.
No, while I was still doing engineering, the passion was still there. So like I said earlier, these are things I was passionate about when I was young. But then I didn't start as, wedding stationery. I was doing what are these greeting cards and all that, breaking off from the traditional ones. So I would put some little gist here and there, like you can see here, trying to make them a little bit more customized to the client specifications. So along the line, I think it was more of the what are these? Should I say not reviews, but feedback we got from the clients that our clients who are buying the greeting cards from us were asking us if we could do their wedding cards as well. So that's how we ventured into wedding cards. But we didn't start off as doing wedding stationery. We were doing something else. So it's along the way that the demand for these wedding cards increased. So we ventured more into the wedding stationery, but we still do the other cards. It's just that the other ones are seasonal. Yeah, so that's why we have ventured now into wedding stationery, because that one is not seasonal, even though we do have a peak season and off-peak season. But this is something that you can do throughout the year. So that's why we ended up here. So I'm still using my engineering skills here. I'm not
because I want to ask you.
Yes.
I'm still yet to relate between energy engineering,
yes,
and doing greeting cards or wedding cards. How did that shift happen? Was there an aha moment? Is it that you found out engineering was a wrong course for you? What are the events that led you up to that, to deciding I want to focus on this?
No, I wouldn't say engineering was a wrong course, because I'm still using the skills I got from the other side. I would say along the line, I found myself being more passionate along this line of, or rather, did I become open? No, I think I invested much in terms of my time. And then I also didn't like being employed. That was the other issue. So that's why I didn't go more into this line of engineering, even though I love engineering. That's why I was doing the course, because I love engineering. I love the skills, all that, but I personally, employment is good, but personally, I didn't like being employed. I'm someone who likes me having freedom of time. So I wanted to do something that would give me that freedom of time, and while I'm still doing something that I'm passionate about. So that's why I ended up going into this wedding stationery and not really venturing into engineering.
Okay. And so when you started, how was it for you? How did you start? What I mean by that is how did you tell us about your first card, the first card you ever made for a client.
For a client, I think when I started out, I didn't start out as a business as per se. Like, when you're passionate about something, you wouldn't be so much into how not really the finances, but you'll be your goal will be to make something that people like, and something that expresses what is in you, and something that expresses your passion, something that it's more of an expression of what is in you. So when I started out by making cards for people who have birthdays, and I'll just gift them. So my satisfaction was seeing them happy, that they've got not just a card, but a card that is unique, artistic, different from the traditional ones. So it's when I was doing those kind of acts, like gifting my friends, that now I got more creative. Then along the line, my friend advised me that, hey, you can make money out of this skill. So that's when I started venturing into the business side of it. But by the time I was venturing into the business side of it, I was already creative. I had done quite a number of pieces, let's say 100 plus, which, so gifting people gave me an opportunity to expand my creativity, getting to understand what people need, the different tastes that people have, because you see, it's a gift. Someone hasn't bought it, so of course they will appreciate and tell me, no, I would have appreciated it more if it would have been this way or that way. So I grew up, or rather, I grew more into my creativity and all that, while gifting people, which, had I just ventured into the business side of it from the word go, I don't think I would have had the opportunity to grow that much. Yeah. So that is how I started. Yeah. Then along the line, like I said earlier, demand increased. So starting out, I wasn't so much concerned about how much I was getting at the end of the day. I was concerned about whether people were satisfied with my product or not. So along the line, I would mix and match the colors. you know of course, I wasn't that perfect. I'll mix and match the colors. I will give the male feminine products, like, so starting out, I didn't know even differentiating what is masculine and what is feminine. And then I also didn't know what was to fit the corporate market, what was to fit the students and all that. But these are things that I learned along the line. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. I like the way you're mentioning growth. And I think from listening to you, we've heard some of the things that led to your growth. It was more of progressive. You started with gifting.
Yes.
And you ended up as a business.
As a business.
Your primary intention was not really a business.
Yes.
And right now, I know you have employees.
Yes, I do.
So tell us, how did you grow? Or what are those, what can you credit your growth to where you started from gifting and now you're employing people? Are there things you did that spark that growth until now?
Oh, yes. I think one of the things I am grateful to God about is consistency. I was consistent in what I was doing, no matter. Then it wasn't so much. I mean, just little. Then along the line, I realized that I could, if I could be more serious with this thing that looked like a hobby, then I could gain much from it. So I became consistent. and being consistent helped me a lot. I didn't know much about marketing and all that, but my few clients kept me going as long as I was consistent, because some will come a month later and the questions were almost similar. Do you still do cards? I'm like, in my mind, I was like, whoa, you expected me to stop? So I didn't know. It's later that I realized that not everyone is consistent, especially if it's something that started out as a hobby and they weren't really employed. So one of the things I learned as I maintained consistency, the demand increased. And so I was not able to do this thing by myself. There was need for me to bring other people on board, have employees. I remember the first employees I had my first set of employees back then when I was still in campus. So of course I employed my fellow students to help me out. Then another thing I have to appreciate for is boldness. Sometimes when in doing whatever you're doing in life, it's also important for you to be bold, and bold enough to believe in the dreams that you have. No one else has the responsibility to believe in those dreams except you. And you see, if no one else believes in your dream, you can't blame them. They don't understand your dream the way you understand it. As a matter of fact, they can't envision it the way you envision it. You're the only one who has that vision. So it's important for you to be bold in what you believe in and bold to execute your dream. So back in campus, when I started out and the demand increased, I remember I knew that I needed to add more people. But the business hadn't grown that much. So I asked myself, what do I need to do? I'll need to conduct interviews. So I placed an advert. Then Gigi was called OLX, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Gigi was not Gigi as it is. So we had free platforms where you could place an advert. So I took advantage. So I went to OLX, or should we say Gigi. I placed my ad there. So amongst the people who applied were fellow students. Of course, we had other people from graduates from Daystar, and I remember one remarkable one. A lady from Daystar came for the interview. And where was the interview? Where was school? In KU. So I couldn't afford a better place. So I decided I will use the resources I have to execute the dream that I have. So I decided not to be limited by what I didn't have at that moment. So I did the interview. They came. So some were graduates. Of course, I felt intimidated. But it is what it is. I did my interview. And then, with interviews, after the interview, the interviewer, you can decide who to call, who to tell that they have succeeded and who they've not succeeded. So I picked I picked the people I wanted. Of course, I picked the ones who were still in school, because those were the ones I could work with at that time. So I picked them. Then that was my first set. And one thing I realized is that the business grew much more when I brought other people on board. Our market increased, and these employees also helped to increase our market share. And that is how we first grew back then when I was still in campus. Yeah, then when I came out, that's after campus. Now I could afford to employ, graduates and many other people, because the business was now getting better and better every day. But one of the things I said earlier, consistency is key. As I maintained consistency, I realized even clients as old as 5 years will still come back and ask, do you still do cards? And I'm like, yes. And the advantage is that along the line, the business had also grown. So I'm like, I'm not only doing cards, I'm also doing XYZ. I'm also doing wedding stationery. I'm also doing something much more. So that is part of our what led me to grow into who I am today and what we are today.
Wow, it's not many people who start businesses when they're in campus. So that makes me want to ask you, have you ever gone for a job interview
No, I've never gone for one.
in your whole life?
My entire life.
But you have interviewed other people.
As a matter of fact, I've never written a CV.
Wow.
I do have a personal CV, or a CV where now at least I'm applying for an interview somewhere. I think the only CV I wrote I wrote a CV after high school. But after campus, no. But my email has several CVs.
Okay. How long have you been into this business?
Let's say over 10 years now. That should be from 2010.
Okay. So in those 10 years, which has been your best customer experience and which has been your worst customer experience?
My best customer experience, how do I put it? Best, it depends with what you're looking at.
It could be the one who paid you the most.
Okay.
Or they tipped.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So if we go in that direction, I would say there was this particular time when we were starting out. I had this moment that I didn't have an office at that time, at the early years. So I was just operating as a virtual office, no physical location. So went and met this client, delivered the product, and they were so impressed. I think they paid double.
Wow.
They paid double, and to me it was so fulfilling. It was fulfilling not because they paid double, but because of what made them to pay double. That was what was most fulfilling, not the amount that they gave, but the fact that I could see I was able to do something that surpassed the expectation. And as a matter of fact, I didn't have an office then. So you could imagine, number one, the client probably wouldn't have trusted me that much, but I was able to deliver the product and exceed her expectation. And voila, she doubled the payment. I was so happy.
Wow. I love that insight that for you it was not the double that they paid, but the value that they saw in what you delivered.
Yes.
That made them pay the double.
Yes.
Inspiring. Which has been your worst customer experience?
My worst customer experience was, I think back then in 2012, 2014, thereabout. I get an order. I think I had two of them. I think I would rather mention the two. So one of them, I took an order, promised to deliver within a certain period of time, which I wasn't able to deliver within that time frame. I was under pressure. The client has paid me. I think I gave a timeline to impress the client. So here, my goodness, time is out and clients need their products. And then to make it worse is that some of my service providers messed me up. It was during my early years of doing business. So what happened, as I was printing, they printed a different color. There are those colors which are close to each other. So if you don't get it well, it will be almost close to the other color. So I think this was blue versus purple. You can imagine blue and purple, how different they are, yet they are still close. And you see, it was a wedding. And you see, in a wedding, clients are specific with colors, very specific. If it's blue, it's blue. I'd rather it's a different shade of blue, but not totally a different color. So this happened. I was a newbie, so I didn't know that when you're printing, you're supposed to be there to watch. But I just gave my order, process for me this stuff. I've done the design work. So my design is in blue. So May knew he will print it in blue. It comes out in purple. The client has paid me. I didn't know when you're quoting, you're supposed to, take care of any mess. So the client had paid me some deposit. So when I was delivering, you can imagine, number one, it's a late delivery. Number two, it's a wrong color. And I don't have the money to redo the work. So I took the cards to the client. The client was very furious. And what makes the whole experience even worse is that this was a referral. Referrals are people you're supposed to treasure. So this one was a referral. So he was going to complain to me, and the person he referred him to me. So I was like, of course he picked the cards. The only reason he picked the cards is because he was out of time. And they had the details, but the colors were different. So he decided, you know what? I'm not going to pay you the balance. I felt it. I was still growing up. I was still growing in business. So I was a newbie. I really needed the money. And what? I felt it. Then the other scenario, I was dealing with a lawyer. So when you're dealing with lawyers are people who hold you accountable for your own words. So he asked me, I remember he categorically asked me, when would this work be ready? I told him. So he's not the one who gave me the time frame. He gave him the time frame. But since I was a newbie, I didn't understand a lot of things on the ground. Like the way people say, vitu kwa ground is different. So mi nimepeana timeline zangu, but on the ground things were different. So I wasn't able to deliver on time. Then on the day of the delivery, so the products were finally done, so I'm supposed to do a delivery. So because I was late it was a late delivery, we changed the location. I was headed somewhere. I think that's past somewhere in Machakos or close to Machakos. So I wasn't able to take them to deliver them myself. So I opted to give a friend. So apparently they were supposed to be delivered to St. Andrews in somewhere around Nairobi University. And then opposite there is There's a Catholic university.
St. Paul's?
St. Paul's. So my friend, I gave, you can remember, I wasn't able to do the delivery myself. So I gave it to a friend of mine to do the delivery. My friend delivers them to St. Paul's. And then there were those days that, having a phone was a luxury, some sort of that, So this guy, I don't know, he delivers and his phone goes off. And I'm like, the client calls me, have you delivered? I'm like, yes, I've delivered your cards. He's like, I'm at St. Andrews. Where are the cards? They're not there. So I had to tell the guy the truth. You know what? I was in a hurry. I couldn't do that myself. So I gave it to my colleague to deliver them. And my colleague told me, yes, deliver them. Okay, give me your colleague's number. I give him my colleague's number. The phone is off. He calls the number, out of service. The guy thinks I'm a con man. So, there's nothing I could do. I'm in Machakos. It's in the evening, almost at night, around 8 p.m. Oh my goodness. And I can't reach the person who was doing the delivery. So I had to wait. And this guy is a lawyer. Already thinks I'm a con and he wants to call the cops. So that was it. I had to wait till the next day. I called the guy. So where did you deliver? I left them with the watchman. Where? St. Paul. No, it was supposed to be St. Andrew. So we did the correction. Finally, the guy got his products. It was such an experience.
Amazing.
But one thing about those two experiences, in as much as they were my worst experiences, I made a deliberate effort to learn from them and become better from them.
Wow. Having been in this business for a decade of your life, I think in retrospect, there must be things you look at and thank God that you started it. What impact or what achievements can you credit to what you have been doing?
I mean, quite a number. One of the things I know is that I've also inspired many people out there who underestimate the visions they have, the dreams they have, that they can build something with what they have. Because no one ever thought that you could build something from greeting cards. I mean, no one could believe you that this is something that could grow. You could make a living out of it. You could employ people out of it. Those dreams that people underestimate. They think, what? No, I don't think it can grow so big. But one of the things I know is that just the fact that I've been able to achieve a lot from such a business that looked seasonal and went ahead and went beyond the season, overlooked the season, and ensured that it was no longer seasonal anymore. I know so many people have been inspired by it, and now they're able to pursue their dreams and all that. But apart from that, I've also been able to employ so many young people and even graduates out there, and given them an opportunity to explore what they have, explore what they have learned. Apart from that, we also give back to the community. We have people who come do attachment in our company. Yeah, so we have programs where once in a while, maybe thrice in a year, people can come and practice what they have learned. So we also give an opportunity in that regard. And from what we've earned from the business, we've been able to sponsor the gospel here and there, helped people here and there, which I believe had I not pursued the dreams I had, I wouldn't have been able to do all that. Yeah, and you can imagine all these I've been able to do, and yet I still think that I still have much more room to grow. Yeah.
Guys, we are still going on with Young and Different, and Henry, one of the things I liked, one of the things you said that I'm still thinking about, you said use the resources you have to achieve the dreams you have. So guys, I hope you heard that. Use the resources you have to achieve the dreams you have. I like the way that even if you didn't have an office, you could still call people for interviews. Then you talked to us about consistency and courage.
Courage, yeah.
Yeah, those are two things you emphasized on how you were able to grow from giving cards as gifts to actually running a company that employs people. Okay, so we're going to another part of Young and Different, and this is normally the challenge part. And today's challenge will be very simple. Episode 1, we did couple game. Not couple game. Episode 1, we did dad jokes. Or do you think we should do dad jokes?
No.
You don't have any joke?
I don't have any jokes for today.
So we don't do dad jokes. Thank you, because I knew you would say that. So today is different. Today's challenge is a game called Pictionary. Have you ever heard of it?
Pictionary? Not really.
Okay, but the name itself can tell you something. Picture. So Pictionary is just charades, but in picture form. You know the way in charades you give clues using signs until someone guesses what you're trying to demonstrate? So in Pictionary, you draw it. And then someone else tries to figure out what the word is. So that's Pictionary. And for the first time in Young and Different, we are not just going to do the two of us. Since our mamas are around, we are going to do it as a couple game. And you can see our mamas with us. They can greet you. They can say hi.
Hello.
Yes. So I know you are rooting for me as usual because I'm the host. What do you want to say? Disclaimer. You have to start with a disclaimer.
My disclaimer is still there.
It's for fun.
This part of Young and Different is not that serious.
It's just enjoyment.
It's just
enjoyment.
for fun.
That's it. So we're going to have fun, and it's we are playing a round of 5. The first couple to guess the first 5 right guesses wins the game.
Okay.
So you're ready for it?
We're ready. It's not that serious.
Okay, it's not that serious. So guys, let's go. So we are going first. Then round 2. Di mamas, Pitch chukua clue. Moja tu. Tunaona sisi wote. Tunachora the same thing.
So wanafaa kuguess.
Wana guess.
Oh my goodness.
Wadau. Hiyo Kisungu Mukuti. Where? Are you ready?
So tunachora cost.
Wewe chora yako, mimi nachora yangu.
So
yeah, mama yanaangalia yako, yanaangalia yangu. Mimi ni yeye nape clue. I'm giving her my clue, you are giving Judy the clue by drawing.
Okay.
In drawing form. So as fast as anyone who can guess quickly. Sawa?
Una guess kitendo.
Unaweza ongeanga bana.
Eating.
We got it. High five. Ndio hiyo.
Unajua kudekea kuko hapo.
Hata ilikuwa kijiko. Pia chori. Okay.
Yeni ugali.
Usifiche kamera isione. Aeroplane.
Yes.
We have two. 3 to go. Ni mimi na piku, si wewe piki la ingine.
Sawa. It's not bad. Hizo mbili tumwachia mshairi.
Okay. We'll keep shining.
Hatufai kuangalia.
Unaangalia huko sana.
Tutaangalia huko.
Uko tayari? Usianze kuchora pH. Si utulie gani. Hata ungoje niweke uko tayari?
Tayari.
Twende.
House.
Yeah. Shida yako, you are doing 3D figures. You look at mine. Even KG. Yaani hata jiji hata hajaona. Anafikiria 3D. Sisi tunachora ka kitu tu.
Very important.
Msituoneshe. Ngoja. Oh sawa. Ngoja toto. Rap tu kwanza rap. Muende pamoja, mwanze pamoja.
Okay.
Sitaki tuambie tumeshinda fairly. You guys are ready? Go. Road, driving, car, swimming.
Yes.
Hey! High five. Hey! One more to go. Hey! Guys, this is fair and square. All of us wrote this paper. So the answer we came with is
am I going to draw a person swimming?
You should redeem yourself because for us, this is the last one.
It's never that serious.
It's just a game. Don't look.
Oh, okay.
It's just a game.
It's just a game. This time we'll
Ladies and gentlemen.
We're going to take it on. Judy
Siangali.
Umeona? Siona.
Zudibo unaangalia huku.
Okay. Ngoja PH ndio tuanzanishe pamoja. Uko sawa?
Niko fiti.
Sichore Judy. Cookie.
Yes.
Cookie.
Mnamshauri movie yake.
Hapa nimeshindwa ni candle ni nini?
Hiyo mpeani high five. Lakini hiyo umejuaje ni cookie?
Sasa sufuria
Zini.
Mimi nianza na kuchora
Wacha
moto.
kuchora 4D.
Karibu utoe moshi. Haya sawa. Forward. PH unaangalia hata labda hiyo.
Okay, let's start.
Bicycle, chocolate, cook, soda. Yeah. Hey! It's a symbol now. But it is like soda. See, this is a symbol of the racing level. Mama delete video. Yeah, at least you have tried. I think people can see who the champions are. Today's show has been enjoyable, but we have to come to the very end of it. I've actually enjoyed myself. What about you?
I did. It was so much fun.
Okay. Okay. It was fun winning.
No, we gave you the privilege, but,
as the owners of the show.
It's the owner of the show.
Thank you for giving us the advantage. Thank you for giving us the advantage.
Very important.
We are grateful. Yeah, we used consistency and boldness.
Exactly.
So maybe you can tell us, how can people find you?
Online, of course, via social media. So on all social media platforms, that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, as Mimsha Creations.
Mimsha Creations.
Yes.
Okay.
So you just Google Mimsha Creations on IG, Facebook, Google My Business. We're all there.
Okay.
TikTok, Snapchat, all that.
Wow. Even TikTok?
Yes.
So you
TikTok.
do dances with cards? How do the TikToks go?
The dancers, the cards dance.
Oh, okay. They represent you in the dancing.
They represent us.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I can ask Judy. Maybe she can tell us something since she's around. How do you take the business he's doing?
I feel so good when he's doing the business, especially when designing, creating things from nothing to something, and making couples to be happy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with the good job that he's doing.
Okay. And he actually did our wedding cards.
Yeah.
He did our wedding invitation cards, and they were amazing. Her family actually from Tanzania took them as souvenirs, right?
Yeah.
because they like the cards.
Here comes the bride. It was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yes. So if you need good wedding stationery, apart from the cards, what
Apart
else are
from
we talking
the
about?
wedding invitation cards, basically it's any other stationery you might need for your wedding or for a wedding. That's wedding programs, branded envelopes, gift box, to bridal signages. Here comes the bride.
Wow.
And there are those stationery that people use for brides during the morning to surprise the bride, all that.
Okay.
So any stationery you will need for a wedding, we cater for that.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing. That has been it for today's episode of Young and Different. Remember, be consistent, be bold about what you're doing. Start with what you have to achieve the dream that you have. If you know someone we should feature on this show, you can put your suggestions in the comment all the same, remember to like, comment, and share the link to this video to all your friends, the people on your social media. We'll be glad to, learn this together. Remember, this is young and different. So keep making a difference. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.
Adios.